Hey, how's it going? Dave 2D here. This is the Asus ZenBook S, and it's got this interesting feature, this hinge that lifts the keyboard and it gives it this, what I would consider to be one of the most comfortable keyboards I've used in a laptop recently. So this device is standard ZenBook quality. It's aluminum all around with this chamfered edge that's either bronze or copper, depending on how you look at it. I'd say it's more of a copper, but that's just me. And it's really well built. It is a ZenBook flagship. These are always well made. Now, this hinge is what makes this laptop special. They're calling it ErgoLift, and it's not the first time we've ever seen a device do this. Like the whole idea of when you open the device, it lifts up. Like we've seen other devices do it. We've seen other Asus devices do it. We've seen XPS devices do it. It's certainly not new, but these guys do it better than anyone else that I've seen. The idea is to lift up the keyboard so there's a bit of a tilt so it's a more comfortable typing position, as well as opening up the bottom so it's not touching the surface of whatever you're typing on. And the tilt is just right. It's an awesome keyboard experience. It's a great layout, clean white backlighting. The arrow keys are in the proper spot, and each keystroke has this nice feel to it on these chiclet keys. My only knock on it is that the page up and page down stuff, there's no dedicated buttons for them. And if you want to use the hotkeys for them up top, they're in a weird spot. You have to take your fingers off the cursor and push them in the function keys. But still, despite that odd page up, page down positioning, it's an awesome keyboard, and it's seriously one of the best keyboards I've used. If I had to type for a long period of time for like an essay or development or any kind of like extensive keyboard use, this would probably be my top pick. The trackpad is also quite good. It's Windows precision, good tracking and button mechanics. The fingerprint sensors in the top right corner, it's not my favorite spot, but overall, good trackpad. The port selection is somewhat limited. There's one USB-C on one side, and then the other side has two Thunderbolt 3s and one audio jack that's built into the screen component, and that's basically it for ports. The speakers are, well, they actually sound really good. Just the speakers themselves, but they're positioned in not a great position. So when you have it just kind of like in a regular laptop position, that ErgoLift makes this almost like an echo chamber underneath the laptop, and you can hear the sound just bouncing around and distorting a little bit. If you just have the speakers pointing straight up top, they sound really clean, but you're never going to use them like this, and in the regular laptop position, they don't sound as good. The screen that I have in this model is a 4K panel. It looks really sharp, almost to the point of being too sharp. Like, I've never really needed a 4K panel on a 13-inch device, but that's what this one has. It's bright, it's color accurate, it looks good. There is a 1080p option available, which I think is a better choice for most people, but if you're a photo editor or something, they do have the 4K screen, and the webcam's up top in a normal position. Okay, let's talk about performance. This device can be equipped with some very powerful hardware. Like you can get the 8th gen 4-core CPU and 16 gigs of RAM. You can deck it out pretty heavily, and for short bursts, that 8th gen CPU is really good. But thermally, it's not a strong performer, and it casts a bit of shade on this whole device for me. Now, depending on what you're using this for, this may or may not affect you, but for me, someone that looked at this as a potential video editing machine, it needs better thermals. At stock settings, it will power and thermal throttle pretty quickly. The fans are really quiet, which is easy on the ears, but it just limits what this product can do. So in XTU, I played around a little bit, cranked up some stuff, and it can run boost for longer, but it can't maintain it. I really wish they'd just gone with a more aggressive thermal solution. I feel like the fans could have been louder. I feel like the fans could have been bigger, or maybe thrown in 2 fans. The thing is, this thing is so quiet that like, it just, I get what they're going for, right? It's a business laptop, and those people want really quiet devices, and they even have like this quiet mode which makes it run essentially silent, but it throttles even harder. I just wish there was a way to crank up the fans and avoid any kind of thermal limitations, but there isn't. It also says something about the ErgoLift. So the idea of this ErgoLift was obviously primarily for a more comfortable keyboard experience, but it would have been nice if there was some kind of airflow through that gap, but there isn't. It does raise that hot surface away from your lap, so if you're typing on the keyboard on your lap, it's a little bit more comfortable, but there is no airflow. Okay, inside, we're looking at a battery that's 50 watt hours. Not a huge battery, but we're getting around 6.5, 7 hours of battery life, which is pretty respectable. The Wi-Fi card is built on board, can't remove it. Same with the RAM, can't remove that. You gotta configure it at purchase. The NVMe is removable, and the one they're using is fast. They're the PM961 drives from Samsung. So the ZenBook S is a device in that premium ultrabook market. Obviously, it's not gonna be a cheap device. It starts at $1,100, goes up to like $1,400, $1,500. It's competing with stuff like the XPS 13, the Razer Blade Stealth, the LG Gram. They're all expensive devices, and I would consider this one kind of reasonably priced considering the hardware that you're getting. If you're looking for something that's like productivity base. If you want a good keyboard and you're using it for school or work or photo editing, this is a good pickup. This makes sense. But if you want something that's a little heavier, like video editing, or if you want to play games with an external GPU, I would look at something else. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.